Defensive lineman Shane Coates was a two-time All-Ivy League selection at Dartmouth, and now he joins the Buffaloes as a graduate transfer with 2 years of eligibility remaining. William, what are your thoughts on Coates joining the D-line mix in Boulder?
Well, I got to tell you, from all the film I've watched so far, he's by far my favorite defensive player that I've seen. He's long and lean, and he's being listed at 6'3", 275. But man, he's got room to add to that. I mean, he could easily hit 290 just looking at that body shape right now. He plays with great pad level, got long arms and tenacity. He's very well trained. He uses his hands very well. Doesn't quit. So he lines up a lot for them in the 3 technique, which is basically over the outside shoulder of a guard. But then he also lines up in the 5 technique, which is the outside shoulder of a tackle. So he's a guy who I think really in a pinch could play all 4 of your spots. If you're in a 4-man line, all 3 of your spots in a 3-man line. He's not the first pick I would use at nose, because he doesn't have that mass, but he reminds me of our guy a couple of years ago who was so active on the inside, Mustafa Johnson, quite a bit. He's got that kind of quickness. He's not the biggest guy on the planet, but I think he'll be bigger than Mustafa. But I just like how relentless he is. There's a play at the 1-minute mark on the film we have where he's getting triple teamed, and he still keeps fighting the outside and makes a play on the quarterback for a loss. He's very quick. He changes directions well. He sees things and reacts. And then there's a play at the 1 minute 20-second mark where there's a beautiful, what I call hand fighting, where it is pass rush and he's knocking the guy's hands down. So, all I've seen from CU defensive linemen is bull rush. So it's nice to see guys doing different stuff. So I see him with the hand. So he's got a hand fight, and then you punch once you get their hands down. So somebody's taught him very well how to play this game, and I really like it. And if you can't tell, I'm very excited about him. He's really a super player. Sheds blocks well. He can't be blocked. And I got to tell you, don't think that it's Ivy League and there's no linemen there. I had a couple linemen I've coached who had Power 5 options who chose to play in the Ivy League. There's some good linemen up there. He's not playing against high school kids. And even when he's blatantly held, they can't stop him. So his eyes are always in the backfield, and I'm just really enthusiastic about Shane Coates. I think he plays. I think you can use him in a variety of different ways on a defensive line, and I think he plays from day one and really has an impact.
You and Colorado aren't the only ones that are enthused about Coates, because he had quite a few Power 5 schools make a run at him once he entered the transfer portal. He had 9 other Power 5 options in the portal. Miami and Oklahoma State were a couple of the other programs after him. New CU defensive ends coach Nick Williams made a quick connection with him, sold him on the opportunity in Boulder. Coates is originally from Dayton, Ohio, where he went to Chaminade Julian High School, was a 4-year letterman there. Mentioned his career at Dartmouth, started 20 games there, 8.5 sacks. Just lastly here, William, I'm sure you talked about the fact that there is talent at the Ivy League. How much of an adjustment is that going to be? Is that something he can work through during spring ball?
Yeah, I think that's not a big deal. I think there's other guys we're going to talk about that I think will have a much bigger adjustment as far as that goes. But I think the Ivy League is a much better league than people think it is. They're very well coached, and they're smart kids, right? So they learn how to do things. They can be coached. And, a kid coming from a place like Dartmouth is going to pick up everything you're giving him. So I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. He's seen big linemen. He's seen big linemen that are fairly athletic, and so it's not going to be a huge deal for him to make the change to this level.
All right, that was our look at Colorado defensive line transfer edition, Shane Coates.